It's the middle of July, and I'm gonna do something no one in Canada ever does. Well, at least no one I know in Canada does this. I'm gonna get my Christmas on. That's right, it's time to do some DIY Christmas in July. I saw these gold plastic urns at the thrift store and just knew that they would make the perfect base to a Christmas tree. So I took them home and gave them a couple of coats of some just Rust-Oleum white spray paint. And I didn't get too picky with this because it's going to get covered up with some baking soda paint. Basically, I just took some paint. It was some leftover house paint I had in gray and a little bit of folk art trellis gray I added to it because I felt like it needed a little bit of warmth, and I mixed that all up together and then added some baking soda. And really, I don't have the proper measurements for this. I just keep mixing baking soda I should say, into the paint and stirring it around and adding a bit more baking soda until I get basically a consistency that is similar to that of melting soft serve ice cream. So when you kind of achieve that look, then you know it's ready. And then using a big thick chippy brush, just apply that mixture, baking soda chalk paint mixture, to your plastic urn, and just creating tons and tons of texture, pouncing up and down, really adding as much texture to that urn as you possibly can, because you are going for a faux stone look. Then I went in with the same baking soda mixture, but this time with milk jug white paint because it's my favorite. And again, with the chippy brush, just keep pouncing it on top of the first coat of baking soda paint. And then just to add a little bit more dimension, I went in with just some of the milk jug paint, chalk paint, and just added little bits with the chippy brush here and there on top of the dried baking soda paint until I kind of got the look I was going for. To soften a bit, I just grabbed a baby wipe and pounced on top of that white milk jug paint just to thin it out a bit. Then I had these Dollar Tree trees already. I had bulked them up with extra pieces of Christmas greenery, and then I just added some white berries and some mini pine cones that I'd frosted with a little bit of chalk paint, and then I put a little bit of chalk paint on all of the tips of the branches just to give it a frosted Christmassy look. I had removed the base of the tree, so I stuck that into a black styrofoam square piece. I wrapped the plastic trunks in twine. It just gives it a nice finished look. It's a little tip for when you're working with faux trees. And then stuff some bags into the bottom of each of the urns, and then just placed the Christmas tree inside of each urn. To finish this off, in case anyone got a little bit curious and decided to peek, I decided to add a bit of rocks and some glass beads from the dollar store just to finish it off and kind of give it that nice finishing touch. I also found this gorgeous set of crèche figurines. I think in English you call it Nativity Set. In our family we call it a crèche. And I knew that all it would need is a coat of white spray paint and a little bit of gray chalk paint. So I went with trellis gray because it has like a nice warm color to it. And using a stippling brush, I just painted all over the figurine, really focusing on those areas that had sort of nooks and crannies and depth to give it a bit more texture and interest. So I just, using that stippling brush, went all over the figurines, and then using a damp lavette or dishcloth, I wiped away all of the excess on top, so that in the end the gray was sort of left in the areas that you wanted to stand out. Okay, I got this DIY inspiration from Kirkland's. They had this black head stag wreath holder that they were asking way too much money for, and I knew that you could make it quite easily using Dollar Tree supplies. So I bought a wreath hanger from Dollar Tree and one of their reindeer head ornaments, and I just gave it all a nice couple of coats of spray paint in black spray paint. I went with the matte this time, although it doesn't really look like it now. It does when it dries. And then all you need to do is take your hot glue gun and apply a generous dollop of hot glue to the back part of the reindeer head, and then finding the correct placement on the wreath hanger. Okay, now we're gonna make these adorable little herb ornaments using these tiny little mini ornaments that I found at Dollar Tree. I think they're place card settings because they come with these little pieces of paper, but we're not gonna use it for that. Grab yourself a Ziploc bag and just shake out the little shaker stars inside each of the ornaments because you won't be needing those. Okay, I have a huge garden in our backyard, and every year I love to grow all types of herbs. So I've picked Russian sage because I had way too much, and oregano and dill. And then, I'm sorry, my hands seem to be out of the shot here because it's the opening in these little mini ornaments are actually not that easy to work with. So I tried using a funnel to start with and it was just a no-go. So instead I decided to take a little piece of paper and I rolled it up into a little paper funnel, and then I stuck the small plastic funnel into the paper funnel and then poured the herbs into the plastic funnel and let it sort of slide through both. Not gonna lie, this took a little bit of finagling. Sometimes the herbs would get stuck. I was using herbs that I had just, like I said, dried from the garden, and so some of them might have been a little bit bigger pieces and stuff. But just be patient, play with it, and it will work. It will work. Just need a little bit of patience. And then for a finishing touch, I just used some inexpensive stickers from Dollar Tree that had letters on them and added the letter that matched the herb onto the ornament, and I was done. Okay, I think this might be my favorite DIY of the bunch, but which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear. So all I did, and all you need to do, is run to Dollar Tree and get yourself some of those clear ornaments. I used both the round ones in varying sizes, plus the ones that look like light bulbs. I think I personally like the round ones the best. And then I found some lavender bath potpourri at the dollar store at Dollarama. It was like $3 or $4, I think $4 for the jar. And I just used a funnel. Just stick your funnel inside your little clear ornament and take some of that potpourri. I mean, you can use bath potpourri, any potpourri really, as long as it's small enough to fit through the hole of the funnel. Yeah, you just take your funnel, shove your potpourri through it, put your lid back on top. Simple as that. Now you might notice that on the light bulb ones, the tops of the bulbs are silver, and that's how they come. On the round ones, you'll notice that they're gold. Now, I spray painted those. I did that for another DIY that I shared on my blog. I think it was last year. I find that it just adds that little bit extra to the finished look. So it's totally up to you, completely optional. So when you're done filling your potpourri, just pop those lids on. Again, spray painted, not spray painted. Look at that. It just looks pretty. It just looks that much more high end. That's it for all of my Christmas in July DIYs. If you like them, make sure that you subscribe and hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Remember, keep smiling and DIYing.